Surviving spouse benefits you're entitled to, widow, widower, surviving spouse, it's all the same for Social Security. And so I'm going to go into a bunch of the frequently asked questions people have had. I've done this a few 100,000 times. I've taken hundreds of thousands of survivor claims when I was working at the Social Security Administration. I ran the third busiest Social Security Administration office in the country. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. How this works is this is a live. If you're watching live right there, right now, go ahead and put your question in chat. And once I talk about surviving spouse benefits and getting all the money you're entitled to, then I will open it up and I will answer as many questions as I possibly can for about an hour total. So anything about disability, surviving spouse, retirement, Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act, anything like that, make sure you ask and we'll see how we can help you out in the time allotted. Okay, and if you're not watching this live, then make sure you subscribe. And that way, when you, your family, or friends have questions in the future, you can find us again. All right, so surviving spouse, frequently asked questions. So there's hundreds of frequently asked questions, but I've narrowed down into what I've found to be the most important. And how much can you receive? The most you can receive, a lot of people don't know this, even Social Security employees, it seems they depend on the computer system and they forget the underlying policy. But surviving spouses can actually receive DRCs, delayed retirement credits. And the confusion is current spouses, we're talking about that you're still married, or even divorced spouses, they do not receive delayed retirement credits. What's a delayed retirement credits? Well, anytime you wait to collect your Social Security benefits after your full retirement age, up to 70 years old, you get extra credits. So it's 8% per year. You don't have to wait the entire year. Every month you wait, it increases your benefit all the way up to 70 years old. So if you wait until you're 70 years old and you've paid the max for 35 years, which is how Social Security calculates your benefits, is over the high 35 years. If you've paid the max limit for 35 years and you waited till 70, then your benefit amount would be $4,873 this year in 2024. If you passed and your spouse or even your divorced spouse, if they started collecting benefits from you at their full retirement age, they would receive those delayed retirement credits as well, $4,873. If they were still alive, they would not receive it. They would receive just the your max primary insurance amount, which is about $1,000 less. But as soon as you pass, then they collect the delayed retirement credits. How long does the marriage need to last? That's another big question. If it's a divorce, then 10 years. You had to be married to the person for 10 years, not necessarily consecutive. You could be married 5 years, get divorced to that person, remarry the same person the following calendar year, and then be married another 5 or 6 years for a total of 10 years to get divorced surviving spouse benefits. If you're married to the person, 9 months. As I always say on all my videos, there's over 20,000 pages of Social Security policy, and there's exceptions, There's exceptions to the 9 months rule. If your spouse, the deceased spouse, was in the military and died while in the military, then that's an exception. If it was an accident, if you were married to someone and then a few months later they were in a terrible accident and passed away, then 9 months, there's an exception there. If the person was I've had a few of these cases where the person was terminally ill, they got married, thinking they're going to give surviving spouse, but the person was terminally ill at the time of the marriage and they knew that it wouldn't last the 9 months. So again, there's exceptions to exceptions, unfortunately. Another question is common law. Does common law apply? Well, if it applies in your particular state, then yes, Social Security has to go by the divorce and marriage laws of the particular states. So if your state recognizes common law, then Social Security will recognize common law. When Can you start your surviving spouse benefits at 60 years old? Regular retirement, regular spouse, regular early retirement, 62 years old. If for surviving spouse, it starts at 60. If you're disabled, there's what's called disabled widows benefits, DWIB, as we used to call it, from 50 to 60 years old. So if you became disabled and you're surviving spouse, and between 50 and 60, you can collect surviving spouse benefits. But other than that, 60 years old is when it starts. And what if you're currently married? Another question. Well, you can remarry after 60 years old and still collect surviving spouse benefits. But if you're currently married and you're under 60 years old, then no, unfortunately. What about work? Does work apply to surviving spouse benefits? Yes, work applies to retirement benefits, spouse benefits, surviving spouse benefits. So if you're under your full retirement age, then you have to stay under the limit. And the limit this year is $22,320. So anything you go over that, then Social Security holds back $1 for every $2 you go over. Once you hit your full retirement age that year, the limit is $59,520 for this year, and the Social Security holds back $1 for every $3 you go over. So you still have to stay under those limits. How can you file? Another question. Well, let's get to that. I'll get to that one next. Do you have to file on your own first? No, this is different than regular living spouse benefits. So when you are filing as a spouse and your other spouse, current spouse or divorced spouse is still out there alive and kicking, then you have to file for benefits on your own record. There was an old policy a long time ago where you could kind of file and suspend and kind of play the system, but they ended that in 2016. And the last people that could take advantage of it just become of age last month. And so there's a whole bunch of people out there that make YouTube videos and websites, or news articles that the spouse benefits have ended, and which is not correct. That strategy has ended, but you can still collect spouse benefits, obviously. But you don't have to file for benefits on your own record first for a surviving spouse, and that is a good strategy. Let's say you're 62 years old. And you say, okay, I want to file for start my benefits. And you look at your own record and it's X amount. And you look at the surviving spouse benefits and it's X amount. And you say, which one should I choose? Well, even if your own is a little bit more, you might want to just go ahead and collect survivor benefits, even though it's maybe $100, $200 less. If you need that $100, $200, then obviously, grab it. But if you collect survivor benefits, even if it's a little bit less, you don't touch your own benefits and you let your own benefits increase from 62 to 63, 64 to 65, and you wait as long as you can till your full retirement age. If you can wait all the way till 70 and get all those delayed retirement credits. So the object is you're on survivor benefits while you and then when yours increase to amount you like, you just jump from surviving benefits to your own claim, your own benefits. And the reverse is also true. But the survivor benefits obviously don't increase because it's based on work. So documentation, what type of documentation do you need? Usually just a marriage and divorce. A death certificate is usually not needed because the Social Security Administration's made arrangements with funeral homes and coronary, throughout the country to notify Social Security automatically of the passing. So you usually don't need a death certificate. But as I always say, don't wait. Please do not wait, because too many people on everything, on disability, on spouse benefits or retirement, surviving spouse benefits, they say, well, I guess I need this document and this other document, and I'll go ahead and order it. And then once I get it in my hand, I'll call up Social Security and set up an appointment. You've probably just lost a lot of money there, because what happens is, you're waiting 2 or 3 months, and then you call and they can't start your benefit until you actually call them. So the trick is to call Social Security immediately and set up an appointment, because your appointment won't be for another month or 2 months. Social Security is at a record 27-year low in terms of staffing. So you probably won't get your appointment for a month or 2 months anyway. And that way you've got time to get your documentation. But remember, you might not even need it. If your previous spouse filed for benefits, and as part of that application process, the claim specialist at Social Security asked them about your previous marriages and stuff like that, and if they said at that time, oh yeah, I was married to this person, yada yada, they can possibly use that as proof. So call, set up an appointment, and then get your appointment. If you want to go ahead and get the documentation because you want to just get the old marriage certificate or whatever the case may be, go ahead and get it. Social Security only takes original documents. There's no, notary public or anything like that. It has to come from the actual issuing agency. And when you give Social Security the documentation, you hand them over the original. They take it, they immediately make a copy, they hand your original back to you, they stamp and certify their copy. So documentation, don't worry about that. Schedule an appointment first. How do you file? For surviving spouse benefits, you can't do it online. You cannot do it online. They've been working on that for a while, but I don't think it's going to be an online application anytime in the near future. So you actually have to call the 800 number, schedule an appointment, and do an in-office or a phone appointment. And if you are currently receiving benefits from that person's record, you actually don't have to do anything. It's called an auto convert, as we used to call it. Well, they still call it, but I'm not part of Social Security anymore. But anyway, it's called an auto convert. If you're currently receiving spouse benefits from that person, whether you're the current spouse or divorced spouse, if you're receiving even $1 from that person, when they pass away, Social Security automatically converts everybody over to surviving spouse. So it's automatic. But if you're not receiving benefits on that person's record, then yeah, you'd have to go ahead and file an application. Another question I get, there's so many people out there that are losing money on this one. Divorced surviving spouses, even current spouses. A lot of people out there are under the impression, because their divorce decree said that, you're never going to get my 401k or my 72 Chevelle or my retirement money from Social Security. And the first two, whatever. Social Security, no relevance whatsoever. They cannot deny you federal benefits that you are entitled to because you were married to that person for 10 years or longer. So that means nothing. Again, I've done hundreds of thousands of survivor spouse benefits, and all Social Security employees do is you give them the marriage certificate and the divorce decree. They look at the name, date of marriage, names, date of divorce. That's it. They don't look at anything else. So that whole thing about, you don't get my money is, if you know anybody, I know there's hundreds of thousands of people out there that are struggling because they think they can't, oh yeah, I got divorced, I can't get his or her Social Security because she wrote it, he or she wrote it in the divorce. Yeah, it means nothing. That means nothing. So go get your money. And if you know anybody, please, this is subscribe, share, like, and that's how we teach this stupid computer algorithm to send this out to more people, so you can help more people get the money they need. Does it affect, this is another reason a lot of people don't file for spouse benefits and surviving spouse benefits, is they think it will affect other spouses and other children. It won't. If you're a divorced spouse and you file surviving spouse benefits on someone you were married in your 20s and 30s, but they've since remarried, doesn't matter. They have since had new children, got a new family, and those children are receiving benefits, and you file for benefits, doesn't affect them at all. There's a thing called a family max. I just did a video on it a couple of days ago, and a lot of people confuse that. They think that there's a max amount that can be paid out on a record, and it is for that particular family. So if the deceased has a new spouse and 2 kids, there's a maximum that can be paid out to that particular family. But if you are a divorced spouse that you were married to that person previously, your benefit amount does not figure into the family max at all. So you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divorced spouses all receiving $4,800, and one would not affect the other at all. So, and the other family and the other spouses wouldn't know you're collecting benefits. So it's between you and Social Security. So don't worry about anything like that. All right. What about Medicare on surviving spouse benefits? Same as everything else. If you're receiving retirement on your own record, spouse benefits, surviving spouse benefits, then your Medicare starts automatically at 65 years old. And a lot of the issue is okay, but I'm going to start my surviving benefits at 60 and I have to wait for 5 years to get my Medicare. Yes. The only way you can get it before 65 is if you become disabled. And then for people on disability, they get Medicare after being on disability for 24 months. So they get it in the 25th month of their disability. So what a lot of people do is if they're no longer working, start collecting survivor benefits at 60, then they go ahead and get a marketplace, Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it. So, and I have a team of brokers throughout the country that can help you with all of those, Medicare, marketplace insurance, and all the rest of it. And they support our channel and ability to give you all this free information. All right. So I didn't do too bad. There's 16 minutes of all the frequently asked questions on survivor benefits, and there's hundreds and hundreds of more variables there. So let's go ahead and open up the floor and see what kind of questions we have. And let's see here. Rose, is there really going to be more stimulus checks? You got me. You started me off on a sore point here. Yeah, I'm tired of talking to YouTubers and TikTokers out there that are doing all these stupid videos just trying to get just 100% clickbait. No, even Social Security had to put it. If you go to ssa.gov in the very top of their website, it says this BS about a $600 check is BS. They didn't word it like that. I worded it like that as an old Marine Corps sergeant. So yes, no. People are, come on. I have to call out those 4 or 5 YouTubers that are doing this, and you're just wasting people's time. And you're making it worse for customer service for Social Security, which is already terrible. But so many people are calling Social Security and say, where's this extra $600 check? I heard we're getting another $600 check for June. And that's ruining customer service, and people are taking a lot longer to get their retirement and disability claims approved and everything and get in. So yeah, all right, I'm going to stop right there. Luann, what if I made more than my husband in benefits when he passed away? Yeah, so it's the higher benefit amount. So whichever the higher earnings. So if you made more, then you wouldn't get survivor benefits on his record. But remember, as I said, when you turn, let's say you start your benefits at 62, even if yours is higher on your own record and he's passed away, consider getting the survivor benefits, even though it's less. If you can afford missing that much money per month, and you don't touch your own, and you let your own benefits increase even more than what his benefits are, that's going to do you better for the long term. So that is an option a lot of people do. Arma, good afternoon. Hey, what's up? Just me. Good afternoon. Hey, what's up? Hello, my name is Esther Hill. How would I know if my ex-husband had survivor benefits? If my ex-husband have survivor benefits, whether they're insured for Social Security, if they paid into Social Security, then and if you were married to that person for 10 years, then there is survivor benefits. How much that is and whether it's a good thing for you to take, that's a whole different question. But Just me. Press the like button. Oh, yes, yes, please. Their Social Security is doing a terrible job of getting information out there, and millions of people are not getting the benefits they're entitled to, they paid for, they earned. And so that's our job. My job is to sit here and give you all the information, but y'all's job is to get this information out. And I can't do that. Y'all have to do it by pressing like and subscribe. I know I'm annoying. I keep saying it, but that's how it works. Was receiving state disability, then applied for both survivor and SSDI, got survivors in September 2023, then also for SSDI in May 2024. Wow. Retroactivated to October. Now I owe $3,000. How does SSA figure? Yeah, it's sounds like while one was being adjudicated, the other one was approved, and they paid you double. And yeah, whether the state disability figured in there is not, yeah, that's couldn't really answer it based on that information. I'm very confused. I have that effect on people. The 20,000 pages of policy. As to amount calculated for a widow when husband passes away in the late 80s. Husband took benefits early at 62. I'm currently collecting on my own account. Okay, yes. They don't make survivor benefits easy to calculate. Let me throw up the calculation here. Sorry, TikTok and all the rest of it, but y'all need to come over to YouTube. So these are examples of the monthly benefit that survivors may receive. If you're your full retirement age, you collect 100% of the benefit amount. Surviving spouses between 60 and their full retirement age collect 71 to 99%. And you notice up there, this is directly from the Social Security website, and it says may receive. And yeah, so it's kind of, yeah. Surviving spouse, this is the one for disabled widow benefits, 50 to 59, you get 71.5%. And what makes all this very confusing, which sounds like the person is talking about, is, let's see here, let me find, where is it? Okay, here we go. This is the rib limb worksheet, also called the widow's limb or the widow's cap. This one is far more difficult to figure out. You get 82.5% of the deceased and underholder's death PIA, which is the primary insurance amount. So it is a very detailed calculation, and it's hard. Yes, I understand that it's hard to figure out. It's hard for Social Security employees to figure out. So basically what it is, if the deceased started collecting their benefits early, then their benefits are reduced, and you get, as a surviving spouse, you get a percentage of that. And if you also take your benefits early, it's reduced again. So Congress a few years ago, which I think this is good. It's very complicated, but it's good. They have says, okay, surviving spouses, they kind of get a double hit, double reduction. So they decided instead of reducing them, they would kind of up it a little bit to 82.5%. Normally you would only get 71.5, but they said, okay, the higher of 71.5 or 82.5. So you get the 82.5 rather than what you technically would have gotten with the old calculations. And that ends at 62 and a half. So there's a lot of people out there, waiting for survivor benefits at 63 and 64, thinking it's going to go up, but stop. Call Social Security. If you're the deceased spouse started collecting benefits early, if you're in that widow's cap category, your benefits will not increase past your age of 62 and a half. So if you're waiting till 63, 64, thinking those survivor benefits are going to keep going up, they're not. They're going to cap out at 82.5% at 62 and a half. So it's important that you go and confirm, once you get 62 or so, go there, Social Security, call Social Security and say, hey, am I part of that? Social Security, they call it rib limb. And if you talk to somebody at the front windows, they won't know what you're talking about because they're not, surviving. It's called Title II CS. a Title II claim specialist. So they really won't know what you're talking about. You actually need to talk to a claim specialist to get those calculations. And I even had somebody yesterday that went into an office and they didn't even know what the rib limb is. So Social Security, please do a better job of training. So there's that. But get in there and, make sure you're not losing all those checks because you're thinking your benefits are going to continue to increase. So Julie, yeah, if you're, 62, beyond 62, I would call Social Security and find out how much your benefits are going to be based on that, whether you're the rib limb, widow's cap, and say, okay, I'm 62 now. If I collect benefits, how much is it going to be? And they'll tell you. And then you say, okay, if I wait till I'm 63, how much of the benefit's going to be? And if they say it's going to be the same exact thing, you're like, aha, then it's 82.5% of that person's primary insurance amount. And that's the max I'm going to get. So get your checks. Just Jeff, good day. Ed and community, please don't forget to hit those likes. All right. I always got people in the community always looking out. We got an awesome community here that's, yeah, Just Jeff and Cadillac Jack and all these people have found millions and millions and millions of dollars for people throughout the country because they are out there spreading the word. Karen, hi there. I was divorced for 19 years and married for 19 years, and he passed away, and I was told I would be considered to be equal to widow's benefits. Okay, so you were divorced for 19, so you were married to the person for 19 years. Okay, good. So that's 10 years. That's all you need. And how long you've been divorced, not an issue, as long as you're currently not married, unless you remarried after 60. And I was told I would be considered to be equal to widow's benefits. Is that true? I'm not sure what equal. Your benefits is the same as amount as widow's benefits. If that's the case and you're still under your full retirement age, then you might want to take survivor benefits. If your benefits are equal to the survivor benefits, I would take those survivor benefits and let yours increase. So Harley Quinn, Dr. Ed, will anything change on my Social Security retirement at 62 if I'm a dependent of a disabled and retired military? If you're a dependent, so you're receiving spouse, you wouldn't be receiving spouse because you're not 62 yet. You don't think you're a disabled adult child. So I'm thinking no. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by a dependent at 62. But no, if you're 62 years old, if you're approaching 62, you can collect benefits on your own record. And if your spouse's benefit amount is more than twice yours, you can collect spouse benefits as well. This is not a surviving question. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, all questions are open. I will be getting my benefits this August. I'm supposed to get $3,500. Why will I get only $3,454 in August and I will be 69? Does Social Security give me retroactive? Yeah, they can get you retroactive after your full retirement age. They have the ability to give you 6 months of retroactivity if you want it. Though they should ask you at that time, says, hey, you're 69 years old. But if you're 69, you're getting that delayed retirement credits. So probably what it is, once you get your delayed retirement credits, you start turning those on. The final that year of delayed retirement credits usually isn't paid until the following January. So that's probably the case in yours, that you're getting your delayed retirement credits for 67, all of them. You're getting your delayed retirement credits for 68. You're getting all those, but 69, you're not getting those 8 months possibly because the Social Security system is archaic and it's not that smart. So yeah, you'll get those probably in January. But I'd check and say, hey, I just want to make sure that I'm going to get all my delayed retirement credits. I understand I don't get it immediately, but starting next January, how much will my benefit amount be? And they'll say, oh yeah, the delayed retirement credits will kick in January. But you might have to go through some hoops, because again, the people at the front window won't know what you're talking about. And if you get a new claim specialist that's just been hired within the last year or two, then yeah, you'll need to get a technical expert to check it out. I'm almost sure. So, and that's why I hate to, there's again, another, people are losing so much money because there's a company, there's a few educational institutions out there that gives you 2 days seminar on Social Security, and then they give you a cute little certificate that says you're an expert. And those people, put that on their business card that they're a Social Security expert advisor or whatever. And then they go out into the world and cause chaos and havoc and tell people stuff. If you don't know what you're talking about, don't say anything. That's why, people ask me IRS questions all the time, and I say, no, I don't. No, I'm not an authority on taxes. I try to avoid taxes if possible. I'm not doing a very good job at it, but anyway. Jeff, really looking forward to the video on working while on SSI. Oh, yes. I've got that right there. Yes. I am definitely going to do that next week. I've got that on my radar. Sorry about that. I did the one on working and SSDI, but not SSI. So I will do that. Jackie, my husband just, did I read the whole question? And not working on SSI and not losing medical benefits while doing it myself. And then I'm sure many need to fully, yeah. Okay. Yeah. In terms of, across the board, Social Security likes for people to try to go back to work as possible. And they know they need, health coverage. So a lot of times Medicare continues, but yeah, we'll get into that one. Jackie, my husband just filed disability this week and getting his Social Security at 62 also. Okay, a rib dib. I am 60 in years to come. Will I be able to get anything other than my own Social Security? Yes, absolutely. You, if his benefit amount is twice your amount, then you can get spouse benefits once you hit 62. You can't do anything at 60 because you're currently married. So you can't collect surviving spouse benefits. All right. Hopefully he watched my videos on disability, all the tips, tricks, and secrets. I got 3 or 4 videos on disability I did about a month or so ago. Make sure he watches that, and it explains the whole process and what to, prepare for and everything. But also, let me see, there's another question that I was going to answer. So he did the retirement and disability. He did a rib dib, which for everybody out there that isn't as smart as or educated or haven't been watching the channel, like Jackie and her husband, is basically you can file for disability. And if you happen to be 62 and older, and you can't wait for your disability decision for 6-9 months if you're lucky. You go ahead and start your retirement benefits and you get that retirement money coming in. But Jackie, hopefully, everybody is aware that if you get your retirement benefits early, it's reduced and you're getting those months. When you're eventually approved for disability, your disability amount is going to be reduced because you took those early retirement checks early. It really depends on what the onset date of the disability and stuff like that. But if you don't want your disability to be reduced, then, if you've taken 3 or 4 months of retirement, you can, just say, okay, I want to withdraw my retirement application. You have to pay that money back, and then your disability benefits won't be affected. So full disclosure on that. I was married short 5 months for being 10 years in. However, we did get together and live together 6 years longer. Okay. So yeah, this is another thing that everybody out there in social media gets wrong, is they're always saying it has to be 10 consecutive years. So the thing is, on remarried the same person, if you got divorced on January 1, and then you were divorced for 2 years minus 2 days, which basically means you were divorced on January 1, and then the following calendar year you remarried December 31st, then you can add those 2 times together. But if you were married not like that, 2 years later, full 2 years later, then unfortunately they can't add those 2 together. So yeah, there's that. Just Jeff, 72 Chevelle. The man knows classic hot rods. Yeah, I used to have a 72 Chevelle, but it wasn't a classic. It was a, yeah, POS. What are you going to do in high school for $2,000? Drustopia, married for 9 years and divorced, not married again. The spouse died 6 months after the divorce. Does the surviving spouse qualify for SSI? SSI, yeah, anybody qualifies for SSI. SSI is the welfare-based benefit that if you're disabled or over the age of 65, but you're not talking about SSI. Everybody makes that mistake, no problem. But no, you have to be married 10 years. There's if you were divorced. If you were married when that person passed, again, the 9 months plus all the exception. Yeah, so unfortunately, no. If there is a child under 18, then those children can get benefits. Or if the child was disabled before the age of 22. But other than that, then no, unfortunately. Lisa, my husband was married just under 10 years to his ex, who is now also deceased. Does common law affect things if they live together prior to the marriage? It depends on the state. Again, the Social Security has to go by state laws. But if that particular state says, okay, you got married on this date, but you were also kind of common law for 2 or 3 years prior to that, usually it doesn't happen like that. But yeah, it doesn't hurt to check out the particular state and see whether that particular state can add, those years, but usually not. Common law is usually when you just don't get married at all and you were living together as husband and wife, and the state recognizes that. But if you later get actually married, then again, all the state laws are different. And the state laws also change. So if you look at, you check out the Ohio common law thing and you say, well, today it's, this is what they do, or they don't recognize common law, or they recognize it like this. But what you're looking at is when you actually live with that person. So the law might be different than it was 20 years ago. So it makes it even more difficult. How does one make payments owed to Social Security? Is it a percentage of balance due? Thank you for all you do. Yeah, if you have an overpayment, you can do all kinds of different things. I've done a few videos on that because Social Security has changed their policy over the last few months. You can set up a payment plan if you're currently receiving Social Security benefit, get it taken directly out of your check. If you're not receiving Social Security benefits, they can bill you. And in terms of how much it is, it's how much you negotiate. Now it's easier to negotiate a 60-month repayment. So a lot of people are out there renegotiating. And again, Social Security does not charge interest. All right, so you said you can get survivor benefit spouse, and I get widows, same exact thing. Yes, same exact thing. Also, if they weren't collecting SSI, can I get his? The only thing I keep running into, you lose benefits. Yes, if, again, SSI is the welfare, you're talking about Social Security, that's fine. So yes, if that person never collected benefits, then the calculation is easier. There's no, widow's cap and all that kind of good stuff. It just goes by the benefit amount that person would have gotten at their full retirement age. Is the SGA in the trial work period $1,100 for people who are blind, or is it different like it is in the extended period of eligibility? Oh, blind. Let me see here. Where's my little cheat sheet on? So yeah, first of all, you're talking about the trial work period trigger month. And so the trial work period is actually the $1,550, and that's different for a blind person, which is $2,590 this year. The trigger month is the $1,110. That triggers a trial work period to start. And I'm thinking it's the same for blind. I don't think the trigger month changes for blind. But I'll double check that. I don't think they've changed anything on that. So basically what the difference is, again, it's substantial gainful activity. That's what you use, how Social Security determines whether you're working during your extended period of eligibility. Any month you go over the SGA, you don't get the check for that month. But in terms of trial work period, as soon as you make over $1,110, then that starts a trial work period for that month. It's all too confusing, isn't it? The Social Security website has a big banner at the top of the homepage stating there is no $600 checks, right? Why is that? Because so many people throughout the country called Social Security and went into the Social Security office and wasted all y'all's time, everybody's time, because some idiots wanted to make a video on clickbait. So they would click their channel and so they would make some money. And yeah, so please, people, stop that. You know who you are out there in social media land. When I turned 65, I kept my employer-sponsored health care rather than sign up for Medicare. Today I was told I should have applied for Medicare. Is that correct? No. If you had health insurance from work, current work, yours or your spouse's, and your employer had 20 or more employees, then no, you didn't have to sign up for Medicare at 65. So once you stop receiving that health insurance from current work, if you're 70 years old, 75 years old when that happens, then you sign up for Part B at that time, and there's no penalties whatsoever. Yep, no problem. Harley, will anything change if I am a dependent of a survivor retired? No, again, not anything Social Security related. Yep, Social Security doesn't take any of that into consideration. If my husband started Social Security at 62 and I start my Social Security at 62, do I get half of his current amount or half of his full retirement out? All right, good question. So Rose, you get up to half of his full benefit amount, his PIA, his primary insurance amount, which is the amount at full retirement age, up to half. You won't get half because if you file at 62, you're going to be reduced. If you go ahead and file for benefits on your own record at 62 and then wait until your full retirement age, probably 67, and then collect spouse benefits at that time, then you get 50% of his benefit amount minus your own. So you don't get both 50%. You get 50%. If you're entitled to $1,000 from his record and you're already getting 400 from your own, you'll continue to get your 400 plus $600 from him for a total of $1,000. Cheryl, husband passed away at 55. I am returning at 65 next year. Can I get survivor benefits at my 65 when no longer working? Yeah. Oh, retiring. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't matter when he passed away. Again, as long as you were, married the 9 months or divorced 10 years. And yes, absolutely. Janet became a silver member. Hey, welcome. Thank you for the support. Harley donated to the cause. Thank you very much. $4.99. Appreciate it. Every bit helps. Thank you very much. Thank you. KW, will the SSA run calculations for you to see when the break-even point is for collecting early Social Security benefits until 67, then switch over to survivor? Not really. We used to do it up until about 10 years ago. They used to run break-even analysis and stuff like that. And I guess the powers that be decided that's kind of financial advice, and Social Security employees, want to kind of seem neutral. So, they were getting accused, oh, you're just telling everybody to collect at 62 so they get less amount. Or you're telling everybody to collect at 67 so they die early and don't get the Social Security. And as I mentioned hundreds of times, Social Security employees don't care. All they care about, in that respect, if you come in and you want to file a claim, and whether it's early or late, they don't care. They've got 15 other appointments that day. And so, it might be something new, and, you've been waiting 60 years to do it, but, Social Security employees do that all day long. So they're not protecting the trust fund. They are just doing another claim out of 15 that day, and hoping they don't make a mistake, because if they make a mistake, then they have to fix it, and it takes 10 times longer to fix the mistake than do it right the first time. So, and that's one of the problems, as I mentioned on our previous video, is because of that, because Social Security really doesn't provide, a lot of that type of financial type stuff. People are just kind of, out there kind of in the wind, trying to figure out what to do with retirement. So they reach out to, those 2-day seminar experts, and those people charge like $400 or $500 to talk to them, and they know nothing about Social Security. And I've seen their analysis, and it's all. Anyway, all right. I'm going off on too many diatribes today. Esther, I'm 65 years old. My ex-husband passed away last year. I could get his Social Security now without being finalized. My 100% is 66 and 100. My ex-husband passed away last year. I could get his Social Security now without being finalized. Not sure what about finalized means. Let me know what you mean by finalized. Maha, my marriage was short 5 months from being, okay, yep, all right. However, we got together after I lived together with our 2 kids for almost 6 years, but we didn't get remarried again. Filed child support after. So if those children if those are his children, his or her children, then they are entitled to surviving child benefits, possibly if they're under the age of 18 or became disabled before the age of 22. Does a widow have to apply for their own benefits? No. Once I retire, GPO will affect those, but I think I get both GPO and WEP involved. I would make even less. Can I just stay on my husband's? Yes, for survivor benefits, you don't have to file for your own. You can just file for surviving benefits, but the GPO sounds like it, will affect that. So 2/3 of your non-government pension will affect your survivor benefits. My question is, can I claim his Social Security, or do I need a lawyer's help to prove the time we were together after divorce? No, it won't help. Lawyer won't take that number. Well, if you pay the lawyer thousands of dollars, they'll do anything, but it's not going to help. Again, I let the common law. I don't think any state is going to add common law after you divorce. So, I'm 59, receiving SSDI. Can I collect Social Security at 62 years old, or will it be my present? You can stop your disability and collect a reduced Social Security retirement benefit, but nobody ever does that because it's not a very good idea. I'm not saying anybody. Some people say, well, the Social Security disability, it's, I don't like being on disability, the work restrictions, I'm always paranoid about a CDR. So I will stop my Social Security disability benefits and get the reduced Social Security retirement benefit, so I don't have to do a CDR, and the work limitations aren't as stringent. Probably 1 out of 100,000 people do that. So, Chris, starting Social Security at 65 in June, going to work part-time. How does SSA know what I made before and after June? So if you go in and when you file for benefits, you have to tell them, they ask you that. Says, okay, you're going to start your benefits in June. How much? They don't care what you make from January to May. You make $1 million, doesn't matter. They're going to say, okay, when is the first month you're going to go under $1,860? And if you tell them June, I'll stay under $1,860 for the rest of the year, then they'll start your benefits in June. Do you have any leads on finding a veterans benefit expert, or has the trail gone cold? Yeah, there's actually, I reached out to someone on YouTube, an old former Marine, and he hasn't got back to me yet. So he does a pretty, I haven't watched a bunch of his videos, but he seems to know his stuff. He didn't work for the VA, so that's the only thing that kind of hesitant. I'm trying to find someone that actually worked in the VA for decades and now is retired. But most people that work for the federal government, like me, is once they retire, they retire. They don't want to do this anymore. I'm the only one stupid enough to get back into it because people need help, and so here we are. Hama Williams, I am divorced and I want to know, can I get disability on my ex-spouse's credit? No. We were married 16 years. I'm 59. I say don't qualify. Yeah, no. The only time you can get that on another disability on another person's record, again, another thing I've seen a YouTuber out there recently saying that you can only get Social Security disability on your own record. That is 100% incorrect. The only time you can, though, is disabled widows benefits. So between 50 and 59, 60 years old. Terry, when I signed up for retirement, no one asked me if I ever been married and divorced. How does one go about seeing if there's any more money collecting? Yeah, that's yeah, they did that wrong then, because you're always supposed to ask, did any marriages last 10 years or longer? And it used to be up until about 10 years ago, when we took a retirement claim, we had to document all marriages. But then they said, well, why are you spending all that time documenting a marriage that didn't last 10 years or longer? So they changed it. Any marriages 10 years longer. If there were no marriages 10 years or longer, then they don't do anything. So how do you go about seeing if there's any more money? So if you're collecting benefits on your own record, and call up Social Security, call up the 800 number. And if you don't know that person, Social Security, no problem. And say, hey, I would like to file a claim on Jack or Jane. And here's the person's name and their date of birth, and as much information as you can get, give it to them, and they will find the Social Security number. And if there's any money there, they will set up an appointment for you to get that money. If there's no money there, they'll say, yeah, they won't tell you how much or anything like that, because that's private information. But if there's money there, then they'll set up an appointment for you to take an application. If there's no money, then no appointment. All right, Christine, how is getting ex-spouse Social Security calculated? Do we get our own benefit at half of theirs? Ex-spouse, yes, you always have to file for benefits. Again, where I'm assuming this is a living case, so your ex-spouse is still out there alive and kicking. So you have to file for benefits on your own record. And then if their full benefit amount is twice yours, then you get up to 50% minus your own. Cadillac Jack, there he is. I understand, daily driver, get me to work. Hello, Dr. Ward. Thanks for sharing good information. Married my wife in 1979. Still married. Wow. Awesome. So what's the secret? 1979. So you got to tell us. You probably have a whole bunch of secrets how to stay married since 1979. Karen, I was married for 11 years and my husband passed away 28 years ago. My full retirement age is 124. I need his earnings for 35 years to get all I am entitled to. Social Security is refusing it and giving 3 different benefits. 3 different benefits. So, yeah. Let me think. So to get into this, that's refusing it. Yeah, that to get earnings record of someone, they're passed, it should be, Freedom of Information Act, number 1 on that. But they're giving you 3 different benefits. So 3 different numbers. Are you getting benefits on your own record and surviving, or are they giving you, say, hey, we'll give you this amount and this amount, and they haven't decided yet? That's normal, unfortunately, for surviving spouse calculations, because they're so complicated. So I would, once they make a decision, so if they've made a decision and you've got your first check and you got your letter that says here's how much your benefit amount is going to be, then if you disagree with it, submit an SSA 561, or request for a reconsideration, and that someone else in the office will take a look at it and confirm the calculation was correct. Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore 2. All right. Great book by Benjamin Hoff, The Tao of Pooh. Dr. Weir, my husband has been married 39 years. He gets $1,400 and change a month SSDI. How much would I get if he passes before me? I was disabled according to Social Security. They say he makes too much for me to get SSI now. Yeah, so the SSI. If he gets $1,458 and he passes away and you start collecting those benefits at your full retirement age, you will receive $1,458. So, but is that amount minus his Part B premium? If so, then add an extra $174.70 on that. Roxanne is, I think, is this Roxanne? Is a member. Why doesn't Social Security not tell you what you can or can't have and not notify you if you're going to lose benefits? They really need to tell. Yeah, I'm not sure about what you. Yeah, they can definitely tell you what you can and can't have. I returned the motion for my survivor benefits because at 62, I will not get his full amount until 67. Is this a good move? Yeah, it really depends on your particular situation. If you need the money, then probably not a good move. But if you can wait and you want to wait for your full retirement age so you get the full benefit amount, and again, I'm assuming that, again, as I talked about, if your spouse, your deceased spouse, got his or her benefits early, then that widow's limb might take effect. So, but if that person was never receiving benefits or they waited till their full retirement age or after, then yeah, your benefits are going to continue to increase. So yes. My wife and I are 64 years of age. My wife currently receives Social Security disability benefits. If I file for Social Security retirement benefits at 65, how will Social Security calculate our benefits? So you'll get your benefits, and if one is twice the others, then you can file for spouse benefits and get that difference minus your own. What's the best Medicare plan or supplement for better RX coverage? Yeah, that's it really depends. There's this year, 2025 is going to be the biggest year for Medicare changes and nightmares. So many people are going to, yeah, this time next year, people are going to come back here and said, Ed, I should have listened to you. I should have checked my plan and made sure it was best, because there's going to be a bunch of changes for 2025. There's all Inflation Reduction Act, reduction of this. Insurance companies are getting paid less, so they're going to start squeezing. And so this year is the year to really check your plans, your prescription drug plans, your Medicare Advantage plans. Medicare supplements, not so much. You're all good. You may want to, if you're in a plan G, I would recommend maybe checking out a plan N, because the plan G prices are going to continue going up and plan N looks to be more stable. They're still going to go up, but a lot more stable than plan G. So if you know a good broker, reach out to them. And again, I've put together a team of awesome people that can help you out. So give us a call. Does standard basic Medicare offer monthly allowance for OTC items? No. So you're talking about over the counter. Yeah, not for original Medicare Part A and Part B. That's so Medicare Advantage plans, particularly the Medicare Advantage dual eligible plans. Those are the ones that offer those extra bells and whistles. And yeah, that's another thing that's going to change next year is the government has realized that a lot of these companies offer stuff like this, you know, over the counter cards and flex cards and dental cards, dental benefits. And then they entice you with all those bells and whistles, and then people forget about them, or the company makes it difficult to access them. So the government said, okay, starting next year in 2025, in the middle of the year, we want you to send a letter to everybody, all of your people that are enrolled, and say, hey, you know, for instance, you've got $3,000 of a dental, you've got $1,000 of dental. We notice you haven't used it. Just kind of letting you know you still have that money. So that's going to squeeze the insurance companies more, because now they're going to have to actually pay what they, you know, offered. And yeah, so next year is, if you haven't checked, particularly your Medicare Advantage, if you haven't checked your Medicare Advantage plan, you know, regularly, because whatever, then this is definitely the time to do it. Definitely the time. And so if you want one of my people to reach out to you, send me an email, say, hey, put me on your list for October. When the new plans come out in October, give me a call and let's go over and see if I'm still in the best plan. And if you're still in the best plan for 2025, you are done. You don't need to do anything. What's the difference between survivor benefits and disabled survivor benefits? Are they the same thing? Yeah, they're both survivor benefits, but disabled one, you have to be disabled. And you have to be disabled before between the age of 50 and 59. 60 years old, before you hit 60 years old. Christina, thank you. You're welcome. My mom collects Survivor. There we go. That's what I like to see. People looking out for their family members. My mom collects Survivor benefits as a widow. I believe her own should have been higher at full eligibility. Now at nearly 80, is she still eligible to switch to her own benefits? Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, hopefully there's more money in there. But you know, then there's she should have collected, if there was more money there, she should have collected at 70, so she missed good 10 years. But if there's more money in there, Social Security can go back like 6 months and give her 6 months of retroactive, the extra benefit amount. And I would make the argument, there's a thing called protective filing. So if you or your mother, on behalf of your mother, ever called Social Security, a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and said, hey, we're just checking to see if there's more money on her own record, and they didn't do the right thing, you can make the argument, says, hey, y'all should have done the right thing 2 years, 3 years ago, and we should have been getting those extra benefits that entire time. So check out, it's called protective filing. Jim, do they still reduce benefits for disabled spouses with diagnosed with a deceased spouse if not at retirement age? Yes. Oh, disabled spouse. No, disabled spouse. Yeah. If you apply between 50 and 59, then you get 71.5%. So yes, I guess it is. Yeah. Reduced. Thanks for a previous answer. Married over 10, single now, divorced 16. If he dies before my FRA, can I collect his full amount as a survivor and let mine grow? Yeah. If you collect benefits at, yes, at your full retirement age, then you will get the full benefit amount. And you can continue to let yours grow and get those delayed retirement credits. All right, we are at an hour. Let me get to some people that I've never seen before, that have never asked questions. Let's see, Muhammad Williams. If you have a bank account, will you be able to get SSI? Yeah. Yes. If you've got a bunch of money in that bank account, then no. At 62, can I receive my ex-wife credit even if she's 55 at the time? No, she has to be 62. Elizabeth, following your advice, I called Social Security office yesterday, spoke with a rep who said I met all ex-spouse requirements, but that his Social Security is not more than twice my own FRA. I took early at 62, but they're comparing to my FRA. Is that okay? Yes, they will compare the full retirement age benefit with the full retirement age benefit, not what you're currently receiving or anything like that, for living spouses. For surviving, then again, that delayed retirement credit comes in there. So yes. All right. So you checked, and at least you got peace of mind that you didn't leave anything on the table. So that's good. And that's another thing. A lot of people are missing money is they say, okay, well, one has to be twice the other. So, Jane's sitting there in their lounge chair and say, hey, mine's $1,000. And Jack is over on the other side of the living room. Oh, mine's, $2,000. It's not twice as much. So I guess we don't get anything. They just go on with their lives. But they don't realize that what the check says is not relevant. It's full retirement age. So Jane might have started collecting benefits at 62. So her full benefit amount is, a different number. So it's based on the over half is based on the PIA, the primary insurance amount, which is the amount at the full retirement age. So just don't look at what Social Security calls the MBA, the monthly benefit amount, because that's not what they look at to see over twice. So if you don't know, if you're just looking at the checks or the deposits, then you just might miss some money. So call up Social Security and they will look at PIA versus PIA and tell you whether there's any more money there. All right, last question here. Is it true that if disabled, when time for retirement, the amount won't change? That is correct. Yep. So yeah, once you're on disability, once you hit your full retirement age, it automatically switches to retirement benefits, and benefit amount stays the same. Check or the pay date stays the same and everything. But you do have some opportunities to, maybe switch from a Medicare Advantage plan to a Medicare supplement plan at 65, not your full retirement age, but at 65. So, all right, that'll be it for today. Thank you all for joining, and I will be back again tomorrow with some more information.